the water you're calling. Please shout the names of the fallen. Stand told they won't see us coming. Guns out, we'll always be running. Bring on the water you're calling. Please shout the names of the fallen. Stand told they won't see us coming. Guns out, we'll always be running. Bring on the water you're calling. Please shout the names of the fallen. Stand told they won't see us coming. Guns out, we'll always be running. Bring on the water you're calling. Please shout the names of the fallen. Stand told they won't see us coming. Guns out, we'll always be running. Bring on the water you're calling. Please shout the names of the fallen. Stand told they won't see us coming. Guns out, we'll always be running. Bring on the water you're calling. Please shout the names of the fallen. Stand told they won't see us coming. Guns out, we'll always be running.
Well, hello. Hey, guys. Let me get flipped over here. Let's join in. Yes, I can see it. Go green. I see it. Give me a second. Oh, whiners. Hi. Hey, thanks for hanging out, guys. Welcome to another episode of Cyberbuzz. I'm hanging out with you today. We're going to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. I am definitely not in a perfect headspace for this, but we're going to give it a shot nonetheless. I've gone green. There you go, clown. Be excited with that. So hi to everybody who's sticking around. Thanks for hanging around after Making Stuff show. I'm always shocked. I'm always shocked that people hang around after his show with how organized and awesome it is. And then you put up with me. So hi, welcome. Cyberbuzz is a fun little thing that I do every Saturday. We talk about the Hive blockchain. We talk about crypto. We talk about blockchain. We talk about disruptive technology. I play you guys some music. We have a lot of fun. It's good. It's good fun. I have a nice, my cup is filthy. Nice. I have a delicious cup of black coffee. I've got enthusiasm for seeing all of you guys. And hopefully you guys have got topics that you want to talk about. So, oh boy. There's been lots going around the ecosystem that we can talk about. But if not, I have some sort of like general jumping off points. Nobody's even said hello, so that makes me nervous. I'm hoping that you guys are there. You're functional. You're working. And we try and make a go of the show today. We'll see. I did a tweet. I mean, I don't know. I didn't do a good tweet, but I suck at this. And I think that we can just all agree that I'm fucking terrible at this. And that, having an accurate and helpful plan is going to be part of the show. So, hey, hi, First Amendment. Hi, everybody. Ron wants to come on air. I mean, you can. You just always want to come on air. But I mean, I don't know. It's like my show isn't complete without Ron. When Moon. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I did have stuff that I wanted to talk about. But if Ron wants to have the show talk about, I think Ron wants to talk about the DAO. We've been talking about the DHF over the last couple shows. And here's this thing, and I mean, maybe this is not a popular opinion. Paco Limited, I don't think I've seen you in a long time. Maybe I haven't seen you before ever, but thanks for joining us. I know we had a lot of people who choose to listen all over the place. I'm on Twitch, I'm on YouTube, we're on Theta, we're on Vim TV here, powered on the blockchain, social broadcasting powered by blockchain. So we got lots of cool places you can watch. Whatever suits you best, that's where you can check things out. But we have talked about DHF. And we talked a lot about how we wanted to see encouragement to get things shaken up. We wanted to see more discussion around it. Well, that's exactly what's happening. So I know Ron suggested it. There's lots of talk about it. Oh, there's drama. Oh, yeah, good. Perfect. It's on chain. People are saying, hey, we voted for you. Hey, we aren't seeing anything done. Hey, what are you going to do about it? Things are getting funded, unfunded. I mean, that's literally exactly what needs to happen. So for me, people are going, oh, drama, oh, no. And I'm going, no, this is the exact correct course of things, frankly. It's exactly what should happen. I think there's going to need to be some more further development on it. And I know there's a couple of people who are already discussing what would an oversight committee look like? What would a standardized, proof of fulfillment look like? There's lots of things that we could talk about. But if the people demand it, I mean, Making Stuff and Fibisle, who I'm always going to call you that. I'm so sorry. FESLO. You're just always going to be Fibisla. I'll call you Fib for short. If you guys want Ron on air, he could yell a bit. I'm fine with it. I don't know if that's how we want to. Woo! Is that how we're going to start the show? Ron, why don't you jump in? Well, everybody else is hi, Marco, Revised Sociology, people who are coming to say hi. Hi, Hive Qua. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, we could do that. Do you want to do that, Ron? Do you want to get some DAO stuff off your chest? I was just looking back, and we've actually talked about it. We've had 2 really in-depth shows in the last 2 months about it. So I'm not sure. I mean, maybe you guys have stuff that you want to get off your chest here in this show, in this safe-ish space versus maybe out on chain. Hi, Marky. Glad to see you're not holding a grudge from last week. Oh. So let's start there. Let's go around. I have a couple topics that are on my mind. And then of course we've got NFT showroom news, which you probably have already seen, but it's cool and I'm excited about it. What is Ron screaming about? Well, nothing yet. He's got to get on air and decide. I don't know. Ron, I mean, he suggested the DAO. He suggested the DHF, but I mean, we're open to whatever. It is your show. So with all that being said, I wanted to, at least the second half of the show, move into the fact that I am curious to know your opinion on whether we are moving towards actually living in RoboCop. Now, you're deafened. It's my show. It's everybody's show. Yes, I am deafened. I am deafened because you haven't jumped in, so I didn't bother undeafening. I don't know. I don't know. If Ron wants to jump in, we could start with that. Why not? Anybody's welcome. Everybody's welcome. I don't know if you can see. You can't because my arm's in the way. The dog's down there. Murphy's down there. So we'll talk there. You can see maybe just his little floating butt cheeks. We could talk a bit about that because you guys know I am RoboCop obsessed. Oh, he's in here now. Okay, hang on. Hello, Ron.
Oh, hi there.
That was a very long, pregnant pause.
I forgot I had my mixer down.
So what did you always say, I'm coming on air. I want to come on air. Why do you what it is, yo?
I usually just say that to mess with you, but you're usually kind of like, oh, I don't really have anything to talk about or, whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll come on air.
It's been a rough couple weeks. What can I say? Normally I come into the show a lot better prepared, but yeah, the last couple weeks have been just, You know, 2020 has been a hell of a ride, friends, is all I can say.
Are you not entertained?
No, I'm actually crushed to the depths of my soul. It's beyond entertaining, and it has moved to I want to curl up in a ball and die. So there's that. So no. Hard fork cramming, no. Okay, I'm gonna get this out of the way early because I'm sure lots of you guys have seen. Many of you haven't. Last week we were here on Saturday. Ron's volume is too high. Yeah, he might be. I can hear quite a bit of background, but on my mixer he looks okay. If he starts really blowing your head off, I'll make sure to yank him back a bit. Oh, thank you, Ron. That brought you way down. So I'll get it out of the way now, and just, everybody knows it. But so Saturday we were here having the show. Sunday morning we woke up and I got news that my grandmother had passed, which super sucks. And so next week I won't be here because we will be trying to have what passes for a funeral in this bizarre age that we are living in. So it won't be much of a funeral at all. And that is some emotional stuff that I'm working through. And that's fine. So I just want to get that out of the way first. And so I did. I ended up actually skipping Thursday night because it's hard on the best of days to be a good, entertaining host and to, keep you guys active and happy and, engaged. And I'm still definitely working through a lot around this. But it's the COVID world. And I know lots of you guys have opinions on that too. And what that looks like. What about you, Ron? Do you normally have family that you get to see who you're not seeing right now?
I have opinions.
Are you trying to steer me away from dead grandma talk?
Oh no, we can touch on that. I mean,
Corona is fake. Cool, awesome, Fox. Let's not. That's a clown world topic. I know plenty of people who have gotten it. I know plenty of people who have died from it. I think the global response is horrific and has made it worse. I think there's lots of fake news surrounding it. But trying to pretend that there isn't something out there right now that, we have to adapt better to is fucking dumb. Kindly. Fake news around it? Sure. Fake responses to consolidate power? Absolutely. Completely fake? Absolutely not. So, let's try and have balanced approaches to how we discuss it. Ron, you talk about COVID a lot on your show.
Yeah, it's been kind of dominating the show recently, and I'm trying to get away from it, but it just keeps pulling me back.
It's dominating our lives, so I think it's fair. It's absolutely fair.
It's we're at a kind of a watershed moment in humanity, I believe. And I think that you kind of touched on the RoboCop thing. This all this stuff is tied together. We're all headed to this kind of technocratic dystopian hellhole. Which you think 2020 is bad, and just wait to see what 2020 is about to bring. We're getting into clown world stuff, though.
I agree. And that was sort of, the topic that I wanted to head to, and maybe in the back half of the show once we had, some of our sillies together. Because I'm RoboCop obsessed. I love RoboCop. Murphy is named after RoboCop. It's one of my favorite sort of movies. Let's not talk about the full franchise, but it's a black comedy. It's a very knowing look at society. It's a really interesting sort of exploration of what makes us human, what makes us robots, what is appropriate for police, what is, it's
So I actually heard a fun fact, and you might know about this since you're such a huge fan, but today actually somebody, and I'm not 100% sure this is true, but I'm the source it came from, I tend to believe it is true, that the creator of RoboCop actually said that what the movie represents was liberal fascism. Basically it's the fascist left, kind of.
I can believe that. I don't know if it's true, but I could absolutely believe that. I think that's always been something that technology addresses, right? The more people you bring into a smaller space. Hi to everybody who's joining us. If I haven't said hi to you, it's because I'm a douchebag. Don't take it personally. I'm a terrible DJ. Welcome to the show. I would agree with that because, globalization, we've already had the problems of, okay, well, we can talk to and see people. See, look at, now we're getting in trouble because there's a clown takeover. We can see and hear news from around the world as quickly as possible. You know, we have so much more connection to outside opinions and facts and different media sources that more often than not, you're not going to hear about the same old, something that is considered conservative, whether political or not. You know, if it's the same as it's always been, it doesn't drive clicks, it doesn't drive engagement, it's not something to talk about, it's not something even that you're going to watch so much, because at the end of the day, you know, entertainment is exploring new horizons. So of course the things you're going to see are about people who are different from you, situations that are weird or, you know, horrible. And we obviously are exploring a lot of that right now, and it's playing out in gender politics, it's playing out in you know, technological advances. It's all of these sort of spheres. They are sort of traditionally leftist. Progress is considered leftist. So I don't know. That doesn't surprise me at all that he says we're moving. Creator of RoboCop says we're moving towards RoboCop, and that RoboCop was about us right now. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about fucking right, actually. Oh, did I lose?
I like that. A cross between Idiocracy, RoboCop, and Demolition Man.
Yeah, you know, and speaking of this show, because the show, we often talk about Hive, we try and keep it like interesting for people who come from the blockchain, but that's really accurate to me because all three of those movies, you know, outside of discussing sort of how the future can go horribly wrong, all three of those movies center around basically authoritarian relationships with technology and sort of the average Joe's relationships with technology. That's what these movies are about, is they're basically how has evolving technology shaped the way that, yeah, it's what plants crave. It's Bronto. But, you know, it's basically all three of those movies are about what we've done with the advances in technology. And all three of them are kind of about, well, if we're in power, what is it that we do with technology to either stay in power or to try and build a better world? But in all of these cases, we've said, technology makes things easier for us. And now we've made a bunch of horrible mistakes.
Well, it's just... I mean, if you study history, you understand that every single power or every single government that's ever existed in the history of humanity, without exception that I know of, and if you do know one, please let me know, because this would be very interesting to read about, but they always try to grab more and more power. And in today's age, you know, the technology seems to be, you know, like back in the, you know, hundreds of years ago, it was, and you know, even actually pretty recently, it's been religion that they've used to, they keep on, you know, just inching along and grabbing more power through religion. It seemed like today's age they're doing it through technology, but it's always been the exact same playbook. They just grab more and more power, and by what means? It seems to be just kind of like whatever the current zeitgeist is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, arguably, it's quite entertaining. So the reason that this all came up, and I guess we're on the RoboCop kick now. Let's just do it. Let's do this early in the show. Let's have a little fun. Why not? The RoboCop take came up because there was a meme that's been going around. It's been shared all over the place. And I saw it. I think I even saw it shared in here. But I don't remember. But essentially, like, do you guys know the plot of RoboCop? Now, I'm RoboCop obsessed, so yes, I do. But what about you guys? Do you guys roughly remember RoboCop, like what it was about? Do you guys remember? God, Wesley Snipes was amazing in that movie. Look at his hair. Look at his fucking jacket.
RoboCop was the only R-rated movie that I was allowed to watch as a kid, and we had it on VHS, and I watched that movie so many times. I still I can remember it, but
Marco's going man shot, became a robot. All right, so it's been a long time for you too. Now for me as a kid, okay, yeah, a cop that was killed that was brought back as a cyborg. Okay, right, perfect. So you guys are all correct. I mean, obviously RoboCop is about a cop who's also part man, part machine. But so what you might not remember is there is this central entity at the heart of the sort of RoboCop world. Hi, Eileen. I didn't sing it. I'm sorry. Ron, you sing to Eileen today.
Hello, Eileen.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, Solo said dinner.
You asked for it.
With me. I did. You gave it a good shot. I'm impressed. You didn't even really hesitate. Not everybody would do that. Eileen, what a special day for you. So at the center of the RoboCop universe, there is OCP. And OCP is this mega corporation. And one of the things that you don't realize, and you probably don't pick up until lots more watchings, is that OCP is threaded through the entire movie, every problem in the movie. And so you're given this plot where essentially corporate America is trying to get into bed with the military complex. Nothing new with that. Obviously, a lot of technology is driven by the military and their needs and their spending. But then corporate, this big corporation is also trying to get in at the city police level. And the idea is that the city is experiencing a crime wave. It's out of control. Crime. Hey, Clay. Crime is just insane. Oh, his dudeness leveled up on DARPA.
Drink.
Ron, do you have alcohol, Ron?
I do not. I got water.
You're here for the long run. Now we're gonna fucking talk about this. We're gonna do it. Anyways, that's a great level up. If you're gonna level up on DARPA. But you're right, yeah. So in the beginning of the movie, they're demonstrating this giant robot, like it's meant for the military, but it's also could be used as policing, and it is very DARPA-like. Sorry, I had to take a swig there. So that opening scene kind of gives you the view of this landscape, is that everybody's competing for these, contractors are competing for military money, they're competing for city money, and you get this idea that the city is so dangerous and it's so overwhelmed by crime, and that there's riots in the streets, and that's what you pick up. If you're not really paying attention to the whole plot of the movie, which you might have missed, is that the corporation, OCP, in the background is actually trying to incite riots. And so this actually continues into the other movies in the franchise, but this overarching theme is that OCP knows that to get ahead, to scoop up more of the city, to help get a better foothold, they are actually instigating a lot of the crime. Now, I don't mean to kind of sound a little kooky here, but does this sound familiar to you guys? Does this sound right? You've got a corporation that is actively backing, say, rioters, which is damaging properties and lowering property values, and the corporation is going in and scooping up housing. They are helping make sure that the police are getting overwhelmed in their ability to police, and then swoop in and privatize it and, buy up police departments and put advertising and, technology in play. Like, does any of this sound familiar to you guys? Do you think this is maybe relevant to what's going on right now?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of.
Yeah, it's a little creepy, don't you think? So, I mean, oh. Geez.
Whoa.
Yeah. Sound waves photon.
Drink.
He's been level 22 for a trillion years now. So, I mean, listen, this to me, I just think is really interesting. It's a crossover of Clown World, but it's also a crossover with kind of what we're experiencing in all of these cool technologies, all of the money and the spending and everything that we have going on, that should be going well, that should be something that is getting us ahead. It's really only getting corporations ahead, and we're experiencing this, with the US right now. Now, I'm in Canada, so it looks a little different for me. From up here, it looks terrifying. But we just don't have the same amount of people as you, and so no matter what, it'll always be difficult for us as Canadians to wrap our heads around. We're mostly just waiting till you guys roll over in the night and smother us. But so for watching from up here, this seems to be exactly what you guys are experiencing, is that you have corporations and big money interests who are purposefully using technology and sort of communications especially to help destabilize a country and then move in and, consolidate power, whether they're...
Is that not happening in Canada?
I mean, nobody actually...
Didn't Justin Trudeau just get his third ethics violation for...
Oh, yeah. Nobody likes him up here. But the reality is the scope is so much smaller that we don't feel like anyone cares. Like, we're all fed up. We all hate him. But corporations here, our biggest corporations are still owned by yours. Our biggest political scandals are still... comparatively, I mean, Christ, no matter what Trudeau could steal, it would still be a tiny little amount compared to the scale of America, right? I mean, I'm not necessarily saying Canada's better. I'm just saying nobody actually gives a shit about Canada. Like, nobody pays attention to us, including us. So,
good point.
Stace, hi, it's so good to see you. And yeah, Canada does have a civil war going on. First Amendment, I would argue that's not true. But again, it's not the same because it's not, we have real problems, absolutely. And we definitely have groups in the country who are, whether it's racial or whether it's political, we definitely have groups that are experiencing a big schism. But we've never expressed it in this sort of tribalist, bipartisan way with the intensity that we're seeing now. And I will say, it certainly is becoming a little bit more popular as we watch the United States destabilize. We're starting to be...
Stace.
Yeah, did you not just hear me yell, Stace?
Yeah, but I didn't put two and two together. It's been so long.
I know, she's back from purgatory. But yeah, Soul Miner saying Canada's being bought by the Chinese slowly but surely. That is so beyond truthful. It's intensely truthful. And yeah, that's another good point. His Dudeness is saying that there's a French-English schism. I would argue that yes, there is. But not like that. It's more of a East-West kind of thing. Hey, kitty girl, thanks for joining us. RuPaul says that a lot, and I always want to say it in RuPaul's voice. Just, hey, kitty girl. But so, anyways, we started the show today. Ron jumped in. We started getting a little clowny, and we're talking a little bit about how, whether we intended it or not, that it feels like we are living in RoboCop, essentially. Technology, for all the good it can do for us, we are definitely seeing that it's making us... I don't know. Would you argue that technology is making us sort of strive to be better people?
Actually, I think it's separating us. I think it's dividing us actually in the current form.
I think so.
I do believe it can make us better. I think it'll make us more efficient, and whether that efficiency drives us to be better or it drives us to be worse. It's a tool just like any other thing, right?
Yep.
And I could take a hammer and I can build a house, or I can take a hammer and, hit somebody in the head. Like, it's a tool. It's how you use it. And I don't think technology makes us anything. I think circumstances probably drives that more than technology. But the technology is there as a tool to be used in the moment for circumstances.
And I totally agree with that statement, but I also think at the same time, a lot of circumstances arrive because of the creation of the technology. But you're right, poorly worded, more focused on semantics. Not so much that technology is making us do anything, but essentially in that, knowing that we have like what is unlimited power with some of the shit that we're building, is it surprising that we haven't hit that flying car utopia yet? I mean, there was this sort of dream attached to things like blockchain, like decentralization, like medical technology. Yeah, there still is. I'm not saying I've lost it, but I'm just saying, especially moving into sort of the 2000 mark. You know what I mean? The year 2000. That was it. Way back when we were just like, year 2000, we're all going to be wearing long, white robes. We will have transcended. We'll live in cities in the sky. There was just this sort of idea. And we've actually talked about this on another show. We talked a little bit about how technology impacts design and how our design aesthetics have been shaped by our idea of disruptive technology and the future. But again, design is just for show. Design is something that can bring you joy, but also can be the difference in whether you buy a product or not. So I'm just saying, yeah, we're not blaming technology for making us this way, but at the same time, it is fascinating that right now we are moving into a space where our technology can do the most it's ever been capable of, and yet we're almost socially regressing.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of variables to control for to be able to pin it down to exactly what it is, but we that is definitely the kind of move that's happening.
Yeah, so all right. I mean, I just thought it was interesting. I really wanted to bring up the RoboCop thing because I do think...
No, so the Corbett report just did a video about RoboCop, like a real life RoboCop that's happening. It's just basically kind of it's not quite like, it's not Murphy, but it's moving in that direction. Like, facial recognition cameras on helmets that all cops are wearing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like it's coming.
Can you imagine having there's a couple different old games that were really like this, but just having imagine having a HUD for a police officer. Now imagine pairing that with something like, say, blockchain data or something that was transparent, publicly available, these crazy records that can be accessed anywhere in the world. Like, if you start thinking about some of this stuff, it's kind of terrifying and also fascinating. But I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, yes, NJAR, the Boston Dynamics robot. I don't know if you guys remember, we were talking when sort of the COVID thing first really was amping up. There was a video from Singapore where a little DARPA dog was marching through a park, and it was using laser sensors and facial recognition technology to discern where people were, and then it was yelling at them in the park to separate because they were too close together, and that it wanted them to socially distance. And this was, how many months ago was that? That was 2 or 3 months ago at least, maybe a little bit longer. We were talking about it on this show, and it's kind of like, holy shit. Holy shit. We built robots and we use them to yell at each other to keep us further apart. Oh my goodness.
It's pretty
this robot could be like picking up shit, or it could be I don't know, whatever you want a person to not be doing, that's what that robot could be doing. But instead you just fed it full of authority, and then you sent it out in a park to just yell at people. Oh Lord. So anyways, it's a jumping off topic for today, for sure, was just the fact that, these are some of my favorite sort of dystopian views of the world, and the synthwave, the cyberpunk.
Your favorite?
The cypherpunk. Yeah, absolutely. I would say RoboCop might be above Blade Runner, for sure. It maybe, Demolition Man is up there, but so is Running Man. Running Man is also super, super high on my list. I think if you had to pick sort of like the big four at the top of my list, it would be RoboCop, Demolition Man, Running Man, Blade Runner. Those would be like my childhood combined with my sort of fascination with technology, combined with my horrors about what is coming in the future, combined with really cool 80s aesthetics. Escape from LA is pretty good, yeah. Chinatown.
One thing about that's good about this technology is it is kind of a double-edged sword, where they are pushing towards a more technocratic future, but then also innovations are happening to break free from that, right? So it's bringing power back to the normal person, which I think that they're doing everything in their power to keep us from really, grabbing a hold of that, but it's out there, it's available, and these kinds of things are out there, are available to fight back, right?
Well, and I think this is a natural part of the cycle. I think you brought up something that's really important too, this is not a new thing that we're experiencing. The new thing is that technology is different than what we used to think of it as, like if we're talking like the Wild West times or previous to that, technology wasn't a new phone, a laser targeting device, a voice to skull, whatever, it was, hey, here's the difference between, I don't fucking know, like something that's flintlock and a move towards, a proper cartridge for your gun. That was a huge difference. And this is a cycle that we constantly go through, and that anything that is used against you, eventually you will get sick enough to iterate on, steal, develop yourself, and then use to level the playing field. Humans constantly do this. So, I mean, obviously that's why a lot of us here are in love with Hive, we're in love with blockchain, we're in love with crypto. These are all things that, potentially knowing that big data and information and the idea behind even cryptography is being used against us by the people who have the money and the organization and governments to do it. We're finding ways to opt out. Bitcoin was absolutely that. It was a pushback. Hi, Kwa. It's a pushback against having a government interfering in the ability to transact value from person to person. It was a pushback against, we don't know where the fucking gold in Fort Knox is. There's no fucking gold left. Where's this gold-backed currency? We can't substantiate anything about fiat. We know exactly how many Bitcoin there are. So where we're standing today, you're right. I mean, there's a reason that we all have found our way to Hive, one reason or another. Whatever we came here for, there are perks about Hive and other blockchains. You assume Bitcoin was not CIA. Fair. I don't know who's got most of them. That's fair. But the reality is whether or not it started with CIA and JAR, it has touched off an entire industry, an entire cryptosphere, now full of people. I promise you guys I'm not CIA. That's definitely not what a CIA person would say. Ron?
Canadian Intelligence Agency, right?
Oh, no, we got CSIS.
I've never even heard of that.
I don't even know. It's CSIS. I don't even know what it stands for. Canadian Secret Intelligence Service? I don't even fucking know. I have absolutely no idea. I don't care. Nobody
do
listens
they all
to
just
them. What do they do?
All just ride around on
Exactly.
mooses?
We have two guys with I don't know, and it's whatever. You're glowing like crazy. I can't tell if this is a real statement. Stop glowing. Am I glowing? Oh no. I don't know what that means. It might just be that I'm white.
You just don't know memes.
I don't know memes.
You're a glow in the dark. Yeah. A glow in
Oh, like a spook?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Okay. Fair enough.
You need to go install Temple OS right now and find the light.
Oh God, I read a story about him developing that whole thing and the insanity behind it. But I never really got into it. I'll work on it later, I'm sure. I promise. Definitely not hard fork stuff.
Terry Davis is a legend. He was bringing about the technocratic future that we could all actually enjoy, but he's gone.
I know. So now we got to do it ourselves, just like Hive. Son of a bitch. All right. So in any case, we got the RoboCop thing up. Murphy doesn't even give a shit. I keep saying his name. Ron, you're probably not watching the screen. Murphy.
I am.
Hi. Come here. Come on. Murphy. Come up here. Your adoring fans. Oh, wait. No, he's just wandered over here. All right.
Just pretend you have food in your hand.
I can try. Murphy, come here. Hey. Up. Good boy. Here. Murphy, here.
See, that's all it takes.
Murphy, come here. Yeah, no dice. He says, fuck you guys. Maybe later. So, all right. Let's kind of swing back towards some Hive-ish topics. I mean, we're already halfway through the first hour again. I should play some music today. I got to try and stay on track. But like I said, not in the best headspace. Making the attempt. And I will say for all of you guys here, please forgive me. But yeah, just mark your calendars. I won't be here next week because we will be trying to do, a little get together. But, talking about the COVID stuff, here's, for example, I'm processing a lot of emotions around this. I wasn't able to see my grandmother for the last 8 months, obviously, right? I saw her around Christmas and then that was it. She, has to be protected is one, but also there's a lot of rules in place that it didn't really matter what I wanted to do or not. So that's hard and that's shitty. But on Saturday next week, we'll be having a service, and to have it at the place that she requested, we will not be allowed to have food and drink. We will not be allowed to have anyone outside of the immediate family and her grandchildren there. And we will all have to wear masks, even though it will be basically immediate family. So this is something I'm really struggling with because I'm angry. I feel like funerals don't matter. They certainly don't matter to the person they're celebrating and, memorializing.
All she had to do was just go like try to kill a cop and then die in gunfire. Then they could have had the whole town could have showed up to the funeral.
My 96-year-old grandma would have been, she would have taken like 5 of them with her, I'm sure. But so it is quite strict and it's very frustrating because let's be quite realistic, however you feel about funerals. I mean, some people really matter. Some people really don't. Some people celebrate wakes. Some people don't like to mourn in public. Some people, the opinion doesn't matter. Where it comes down to is, she doesn't care what we do for her. What we do for her doesn't impact how much we loved her. But it certainly is very frustrating to have those restrictions placed on us regardless. And so, yeah, I understand that we have to, protect their staff and whatever else, and we have to protect ourselves. But it does feel like our ability to do the right thing or to pay our respects or mourn together or go through with this ritual, it feels like it's been taken from us, and that makes me very angry. And so my mom and I have agreed we're sneaking in flasks. We don't care. So that's fine. But, I don't even know, like, here's a centralized burial place. My grandmother chose, she wants to be buried with my grandfather. And it's in private property, quite clearly. So if we want to do this, we have to follow these rules. And it turns out you can't just cart around. You can't weekend at Bernie's your dead grandma. So if you're watching and you're starting to get uncomfortable, I apologize. But let's have some fun with this. You can't do that. They don't give you a body. There is no, options that you have on this. And so we are forced to comply. So that's what I'm kind of struggling with right now. The sadness, I had a couple days, I've processed it. I'm still very sad, ups and downs. But at the same time, now I'm going through the anger part. So I don't know if this is, what is it? The 5 stages of grief? What is it? Grief? Denial, anger, bargaining, something, acceptance. What are they? Is that grief?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So I'm in the anger phase right now. The bargaining is already done. The, denial is already done. All of these things are already done. So I'm in the anger phase of, there are things that have to be handled now that are being taken away from us, and not having input and not being able to do that, make those choices is so difficult. It's so difficult. And so, that's where my headspace is at this week. So I apologize that we're not totally hiving as hard as we could. Thank you. So it's denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Oh, okay. So yeah, no, I'm in anger and I'm not going through them in the right order, but I'm almost done. I'm almost there. All right. So that's sort of where my headspace is at. So I apologize if it's not as high-V or as synthy or as whatever you guys are expecting today. But that's why when you come, you're welcome to kind of throw topics and stuff into the chat. It can help, especially when I'm not doing anything that you guys enjoy. Now, Sundive Sotan is talking about the study. Only 6% of deaths had only COVID. I feel like if we touch on this and we go down this rabbit hole, we will never come back, and this will be a true Clown World show. But I mean, arguably, yes, 6% of deaths had only COVID, because that's like saying how much of the population has a completely perfect bill of health with exactly no underlying problems. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the thing is like people are trying to use that as proof. And I mean, there's something I read years ago. It was just about like trying to figure out flu deaths. And this was before COVID or anything like that ever came about. But the thing is like just trying to calculate flu deaths a year is way, way more difficult than you can even imagine, because, that's the thing. It's like sometimes somebody has these other health problems, and, that maybe they would have died without the flu, or maybe the flu contributed to it. Yep. And it's kind of like a judgment call. Yep. But these kind of gray areas is where this is being played at. And and we can see that a lot of stuff has been played up for political purposes,
Of course.
which is sad. It's very sad that they're trying to, like, play up all this stuff and do all this stuff for control. And they're the thing is we can. I actually, you know what though, every single show has been kind of bleeding into clown world recently.
I know, and it's probably because we are living in clown world. So
you can't escape it.
When it's our reality, it impacts every facet of the things we experience inside that reality. So it's fair. But yeah, I mean, people always are going to bring it up. I'm not necessarily arguing. Like, I totally feel that the way that people are trying to use cherry pick statistics against each other is horrifying. But I just also think the people who are like, well, only 6% of the population died only from COVID. Well, yeah, okay. So 6% of the population, or, whatever the 6% of people who were infected that got it, whatever. Great. That's still a lot of people who died. Then you've got another percentage of people who had, the heart issue or the lung issue and wouldn't have died, but then died because they got COVID. But fuck that, because they had a lung issue anyway. So fuck them, they're going to die. It's just, that's a rabbit hole that here on this show, let's not. Because the reality is statistics are always going to be used against us in everything. I'm seeing statistics about Elon and his rockets, and statistics about, Defy, and statistics. It is absolutely becoming the norm to use a statistic rather like a blunt instrument. We don't use it to kind of expand our knowledge of a topic. We grab a hold of it. It's the first thing we got. It feels pretty hefty. So we take a fucking swing and we crack the next person over their head with it.
Well, Krim, only 93% of people do that.
Yes, I did see that only 93% of Black Lives Matter as well. So, it's important to pay attention to the statistics that are available to you. All right, so now that we're all talking about this, let's move gently forward. It's been good fun, but let's move forward just a touch. And I did have something that I wanted to thank you for bringing that up, so I don't immediately get banned off everywhere I'm hanging out. Yeah, see, it came up. You guys made a trend. So are you going to Mars? No. There was a reason I brought Elon up, and you know what? I've completely forgotten. I was going to go with this. No, not Neuralink. Son of a bitch. Although Neuralink is a whole thing too. No, it's gone. Sorry, guys. I had a topic to seg into that I really did want to discuss, and it's completely gone. Shit. Shit. All right. So
what's Elon doing? He's got Tesla. He's got Neuralink. He's got SpaceX, and then the battery stuff. It's supposedly unveiling some stuff soon too.
The solar roof. I mean, Elon is tough for me because I love all of the things he's doing, but I feel like he is our Lex Luthor, and that he's like this close to cracking, and that this stuff will start becoming very, very problematic very, very soon. But it sucks because, he's the only one willing to put up or shut up. And he is representative of some really fucking important advances for us actually for humanity as a whole. So, son of a bitch, fucking Elon. Smooth Elon.
Was it Starlink?
Starlink? Yeah, Starlink is the satellite internet competitor that right now he's got it. Look at everybody's just fucking leaving. Talk about listen, ways to destroy a show. Talk about your dead grandma and about COVID. Boom. Instant show death.
I'll try that on Monday.
Okay. Fair enough. But anyways, let's kind of swing back around. The Neuralink stuff I think is going to be very fascinating. I did want to talk a little bit about I remember. I did want to talk a little bit about Defy because we've been talking about this, and you don't have to stay if you don't want to, Ron.
I want to talk about DHF.
We can. I don't really.
I'm hanging out until it gets there.
Well, we can go there now. Like I said, I mean, to me, like everybody's going, ooh, drama, 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 drama. But I'm going, no, this makes total sense. Netuoso was getting paid. Then
you're calling it DeFi or Defy?
Defy. I call it Defy. I have no idea. Let's put it this way. I've had no real interest in it. That's where the degen stonks traders are hanging out. That's where the sort of next trendy bit. Did you clean all the mosquito blood from the ceiling of your car? No, I didn't. It's disgusting still. That's it's brown now. I'll tell people it's mud. That's what's happening right now. And so it's big news today. And I thought we would talk a little bit about, and this could kind of tie into the idea of the DHF, the DAO for the Hive blockchain. This could tie in a little bit because if you're not following what's happening around DeFi and all of the food-based tokens, Uniswap and liquidity issues, not DeFi, but DeFi, like Wi-Fi. Oh, so it is. Okay, there you go. It is DeFi. I don't know. Decentralized finance. I'm still going to say DeFi. It just sounds better to me. And honestly, either way, it doesn't much matter. Whatever we call it, we're talking about sort of ETH liquidity, the Uniswap protocol, creating, I know I'm saying it. I am defiant. I am defiant about the pronunciation of a stupid word and a stupid concept. So let's just talk about this for a second, because yes, here's the idea. There's all these food-based tokens. And one of the things that we've seen over the last week or two is that a token gets created, it gets pumped through the fucking ceiling and then gets absolutely exit scam destroyed. So the first one, what was it? Was it Yam or Hot Dog? One of the most recent ones went from $4,000 to $1 in seconds. That was Yam, I think, right? Yam, Hot Dog, I don't fucking know. And so this is becoming the outward appearance of crypto. This is becoming the this is becoming the visual to people outside of the space. Yeah, buy that hot dog dip. Gotta put your dog in the dip. I don't know. So the reason I bring this up. Oh,
did you see this as the ICO 2.0 kind of, bubble that, this happened back in 2017?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean,
just another rebranding of that.
Well, I think anybody that has a lot of money, there are two ways they get lots of money: by either being very smart or very stupid. And the very smart people get out in front of whatever it is, whether it's a hot dog or a yam or an ICO, and they make a bunch of money. And then the people who are very stupid with a lot of money go, oh, and follow and get destroyed. It's the same in the stock space, and we see it in crypto. And the problem is crypto, again, is more visual. Remember, we were talking just at the beginning of the show about, hey, we're starting to see what other people can do. We're starting to, on ledgers that are global, on ledgers that are transparent, it's very, like, we have fucking Twitter accounts that, follow whale movements. And so all of a sudden, when somebody gets wrecked, it's not like it used to be where they would quietly shuffle off the market floor, go up to the 23rd floor in their office and jump out the window. It's not the same. Now we see it. We tweet about it. We make fun of it. We make memes of it. Everybody's watching the ticker on, whatever website. And so all of a sudden, it's become this growing thing that you hear more about the people making money and you hear more about the people losing money. And it's problematic in both cases because one brings more stupid people into the space and the other scares more normal, sort of middle of the road, rational people out of the space. But the reason that I brought this up specifically was this morning, it happened again with sushi. And so if you've been seeing around sort of the crypto sphere, the sushi stuff, it is because, again, this morning, sushi got fucking wrecked. Absolutely wrecked. And so one of the reasons that I bring this up specifically is because the anonymous founder of sushi, after doing this, has been tweeting about it. And so hot dog and sushi and yam and all these coins, these are DeFi tokens. They're part of ETH liquidity pools and trading and wrap tokens on ETH. But regardless, sushi this morning, the reason that I bring this up very specifically is that the exit scammer / main anonymous, copy paster is what some people are saying, has started tweeting again. So he's exit scammed. He's got the $11 million or whatever it was. Julia's going to make honey token right now. And we do have some really cool stuff. We do have wrapped Hive now. So maybe if we can get FBSLO back, he could talk about it a bit. But the reason that I bring this up is because specifically, this sushi coin got dumped. And the guy that dumped it is still anonymous-ish. He's running the Twitter account. And he says, well, hey, guys, I need to get paid. He's like, I'm still driving the project. This was just a little bit of slippage. I deserved this money. I worked really hard. I'm the main dev. I'm the main driver. I'm the main marketer. And he's like, I deserve to get paid. And so this, to me, is a topic that we don't like in the crypto space. And I think it does actually tie into the DHF a little bit in the Hive DAO. We have a problem with people who sell. Now, realistically, can I explain it? Maybe next show? Because we're halfway point in the show. And I do kind of want to talk about some Hive topics today. And this crossover right now with sushi is going to let me do that. So we have a problem. We have a problem with this right now in that think about when people power down or sell Hive tokens. What happens? Is it more often than not, if you have a lot of tokens and you start a power down and you start selling, are people supportive of that? Do people like it? Are they kind to you? Or does it usually start shit in the ecosystem? And one of the reasons this comes up is, there's a lot of talk around, oh, hey, coffee! There's a lot of talk around Netuoso, for example. And so people are saying, well, hey, he sends $2,000 a month to exchanges out of Hive. And, he's getting paid from the DHF and he's getting paid as a witness and he's getting paid from posting. So immediately there's somebody's back gets up about selling tokens. Now, here's the same thing. You've got this pump and dump, exit scam, crazy economics around this sushi token. And the guy is... Netuoso ripped us off. No, not necessarily. We could talk about that too, Soundwaves Photon. But that stuff, a lot of it's on the chain, and I really would encourage you to voice and read and follow it on the chain. That's the idea, is making it public. Don't put it in Crim Show where nobody's listening. So let's just kind of compare these things. Here's this guy who basically said, hey, I made this sushi coin and I deserve every penny of this. And you know what? This is just the price. I believe in the token very strongly. And all of you, if you believe in the token, you should be fine with the price. How do you feel about this? Because we have some of this, whether we like to admit it or not, we have some of this energy in our ecosystem as well. And we see this all over the place. Bitcoin maxis, anything maxis, we see this. If you have
it depends on
tokens,
it depends on what's promised, right? And that's what it really boils down to is.
Well, but we're not only talking about the DHF. I know you want to get into the DHF.
No, I'm talking about the DeFi stuff too. Like,
if you're a token holder,
what did the sushi guy promise everybody who bought his coin? Like, is he still holding that promise? Is he still living up to his word? Like, the thing is,
if you enter into an ecosystem, if you buy a token, it doesn't matter, because what are we talking about in the crypto space? What, trust or verify, right? That's always the argument. Don't trust, verify. So if you enter into the ecosystem and you buy a coin, that at any time anyone else could sell a number of, and fuck you, should you really be mad at that person for selling it? Can you actively be mad at that person for selling it? Of course you could be mad, but at the same time, do you really
if they promise to never sell it, then you got to trust that person. So, but
do you have to? Arguably, this is coming back to a Steam
to buy in, yeah.
So Steam,
we
had to trust Steam; it wouldn't do it. Hive, we moved it into a fund that has no keys, that is controlled solely by consensus, and that has a time release. So you don't have to trust that money can't be sold. Whereas, Steam, this was our problem. We had funds that we thought, here's what we're told. We were sold a promise, And eventually that promise was broken. We didn't verify, we trusted. So we've kind of moved and changed some of that aspects of Hive. But I mean, I'm not necessarily even comparing these situations directly, but I think it's a really important part of crypto for us to kind of start questioning, but also to kind of say, okay, well, some of this is true, some of it's not. What is a healthy ecosystem? What does a healthy ecosystem think of the ability to sell tokens? Because of course we know lots of sales, depression of price. That's a problem. We always want price go up. We've seen a lot of this, the degen day traders that are coming in. They only give a shit about the coin if the price goes up. Price go up, buy the coin.
I mean, that's only bad for sellers. It's great for buyers.
Of course. But
I don't see it as a problem.
Yeah, but in our ecosystem, I don't either. I mean, in our ecosystem, this is a problem, and Sushi is seeing the same thing. Is he said, hey, I earned this coin. I have this coin. I'm selling it. I still believe in the token. It's still working, still being a dev, still whatever. Yeah, I crashed the price, but you guys should be fine with it. So that's an extreme example. People are not fine with it. You know, that's an extreme example. But we see it in Hive too. And sometimes it's very strange because we see it for smaller accounts, but we often see it, and I'm sure Marky will know this, and I certainly know this, see it all the time where people go, well, you have a lot of tokens and now you're powering down and you're selling those tokens. Fuck you. You want to harm the ecosystem. You don't believe in it. But then, of course, we also have other people who, you know, might be actually just living fully off their Hive. And that's fine. People are like, look, see, Hive is money. Look at what they're doing. It's, you know, yeah, they earned it. They can sell it. Where is the line? And I know you're saying it's a promise, but at the same time, arguably, let's use me, for example. Now, we don't actually power down and sell that much. We basically sell just enough to cover our servers. So that's fine. But let's just say, you know, we have the Follow BTC News account has, I think, about 60,000 SP on it. And we power down, I think what it is, like $300 roughly a week that we spend. So our server costs for a month are about $1,500 when you factor in all of the stuff that we have. So that's what we power down. That's what we sell. People are constantly going, well, you're a witness. Witnesses can't be dumping on the price like that. You're part of the reason that Hive will never go up. Oh. So what's the difference between me and someone else? And how do we have a healthy ecosystem where we are afraid of people selling? Now,
right, and that's the thing. It's like people don't want the velocity of money. And I think what the biggest problem is there's not enough buyers right now.
Of course.
And that's but then so instead of like attacking that problem, they're going after the symptoms of that problem. Mm-hmm. And because that's the easier thing to handle, right? That's something that's right in front of your face. That's something that you know the answer to really quickly. Like you could, you know, the people already have Hive, stop selling it instead of trying to get Hive into new hands, which is a lot harder. And, you know, these kinds of solutions usually move in the path of least resistance whenever they're, you know, in the stages we're in.
Yeah, I agree. And so this is why I find, you know, when you brought up the Netuoso stuff and you brought up the DHF, like we've had shows where like I want to see the DHF take some chances. I want to see the DHF have smaller projects approve. I want to see some of them fail, some of them, you know, not fail. I want to see that whole experiment play out, and I want to see people kind of loosening up, knowing that the DHF has funding for more, even at like exactly where we're at right now, has funding that could cover off about $1,000 US a day for the next 5 to 10 years. So knowing that, now I'm not saying let's be wasteful with the DHF, but knowing that, I would like to see around the DHF people starting to campaign more, starting to make competitive proposals about all sorts of things. And so there's lots of change has to happen to the DHF. But Netuoso is a really fun and, well, for us, not for him, a fun and interesting example of exactly this. So Netuoso put out a proposal. He worked on it. Some of the proposal was for services already rendered, for future maintenance, things like that. It was approved. He started getting paid. Then he fucked off for a while, thinking, I've done a ton of work. It's worth exactly what my proposal was. I'm coming back to it. And also here's some other stuff I'm working on. I know this, but nobody else knows this. So then the ecosystem goes, well, I'm fucking pissed and I don't want to spend this money anymore. So we're going to rally together and we're going to get this proposal unfunded and we're going to challenge him on it. That's exactly what happened. And so now people are saying, well, we challenged him because he was already selling so much. That to me is the wrong aspect. The right aspect of it was, well, you challenged him because you didn't feel like that proposal was being fulfilled. Perfect. It got challenged. You guys brought it up. It was defunded. The DHF worked exactly as it should have. Where I think the interesting aspect is people were going, well, I can't believe it. Sometimes, you were getting up to $250 a day. How? That's incredible money. Yes, maybe it is. But at the same time, I make more than that at my day job. So what is it about the idea that someone is selling on top of us that harms everyone? And, how do we build an ecosystem that embraces the fact that, smaller accounts have to do it and will do it? Can we tell somebody who's just here blogging who makes a $10 post, they want to sell $2 of their $10 post because then they've got some money and that's why they're doing it? Who is somebody to tell them, no, that's wrong, you're doing it wrong? If you actually cared or you actually believed, you wouldn't sell.
Well, there's a couple of caveats to that, because some of us believe that Hive has a lot of potential, and if you're selling it for 17, 22 cents a piece, you're actually doing yourself a disservice. So it'd be like helping them, saying, don't sell it right now because you're literally wasting your money. Now, that's debatable. We've been through this for 4 years now. A lot of us have. And we've had our ups and downs, and sometimes it looks grim, sometimes it looks promising, and you can't really ever truly tell somebody that you're. But I do think that where we're heading, like these next hard forks that are coming up, could really bring a lot of value to Hive on top of all the other stuff that everybody's building. But what I wanted to address about the DHF is not necessarily. The Netuoso thing is kind of emblematic of this, but I think just exactly what Injar said in here. Good communication solves a lot of issues.
Yeah, I agree.
And the problem is, and this is something like every single business model, you don't have stakeholders of a company directly dealing with every single developer and every single engineer and every single, they're not micromanaging the work being done. They hire the managers handle all that, right? And the stakeholders in a publicly traded company, or even privately traded, like the people who own stake in the company are the ones who decide what the direction the managers push. And this is a model that we're trying to circumvent and just go directly, we're trying to reinvent the wheel when it's already been invented. Mm-hmm. And the fact of the matter is, 16 cents now. Jeez, that's just blood in the streets.
Well, at least, the charts are red. Like it's been a red couple days. And I'm not going to lie. I'm enjoying it because I'm buying more. Now, one thing that I have to say, and so, people need a project manager for Hive so people feel good about things. I agree. And you know what, Kwa, I'll throw it out there. As much and as often as I can, I step into that role. It's unpaid. It's volunteer. Nobody else wants to do it. Whatever you say, people don't want to hear it. And whatever you focus on, you are, you're giving favoritism, or you're not doing enough, or you're, if you spend time on that, then you're not spending enough time on something else. So the reality is, we need more project managers at sort of a middling level, I think would be really good. But regardless,
that's what I was going to say. Yeah. That's exactly what I was going to say. Like block trades, for instance, it's not just Dan doing all the work. Mm-hmm. He's managing the work, and he's got a team of devs that handle it. Yep. And that's the kind of DHF proposals that, I got to, maybe like Banjo proposal, the $3 a month or whatever it was, very cheap, like
$1 a day.
Yeah. Oh, okay. It was like $30 a month or something. Yep. That right there. Okay. That's something that's an exception. But as a rule, like Netuoso doesn't need to be doing all the communication and all the, there needs to be a manager, and then the manager handles the dev work. And if it's not Netuoso, he hires somebody else, right? Yep. Like he's responsible. There's one person that's responsible for communication, for, showing work, for handling the getting the dev and then that makes it more expensive.
If he was smart, that would be the first thing that he would do. 100% is he would just make some cliff notes, and he'd be like, here you go, I'll give you, $40 for each post. You're going to do it once a week. I'm going to give you the dev notes. You're going to turn it into a communique. And at the end of it, when we, whatever, that would be the intelligent thing to do. And in fact, that would be an intelligent thing for me to do. Like, hey, here's the show. At the end of the day, I want you to pull out 3 2-minute clips, put it together, make a teaser. We're going to post the trailer, and I'm going to do that. But so the reason that I kind of brought this all up is just, I feel like First Amendment is so right, but also it's a problematic view as well. And where do we find a balancing act? First Amendment said, yeah, investors should be willing to invest in the future of the platform. Fuck yeah. Work at a loss for the short term, for bigger gains long term. Fuck yeah. But I will have to throw my own experience in. And the only reason I bring it up is not a please pity crim. It's just, I'm only crim. I can't tell you someone else's experience. I only got mine. So when we started witnessing, we were losing money hand over fist because we started at a time where values were definitely up. We were in some crazy times in 2017 and moving on. We lost money out of pocket for ages. We bought Steam Chat because everybody wanted to save the Steam Chat history and wanted us to continue working on it. That cost us a pretty penny. And the servers for that are really expensive. And so we continued losing money. Now, all of the projects that I've worked on in my entire time around the platform have been because I believe in Hive. This is not my day job. I don't rely on it. And at the same time, they cost me immense amounts of my time, immense amounts. And valuing your time is a skill that is fun and difficult and important in any job. So I can tell you that for almost 4 years now, I've absolutely been working at a loss for bigger gains for everyone. I've absolutely been willing to invest in this platform, but I have to say, I'm starting to get a little bit tired of people sending me DMs and going, why is your witness powering down? Why do you guys keep selling? You're a whale crim, you're a witness crim. They don't ever look at your wallet. The assumption is there. And I seriously thought about it the other day. I have, a couple thousand liquid, and I thought, man, I really, really, really want to upgrade the camera for my live streams. I want to do that. And then I also want to get someone to help so I can get some of this content onto the chain so people remember that I'm part of this chain. And the pushback is insane. And I have to say, as a dev, as somebody who literally, not a core dev, please don't put me on that level. I'm not good. But as a dev and as a communicator and as a volunteer and as someone working inside this ecosystem for years, and you, Ron, are the same boat. Julia, Kitty Girl, Solo, all of you in this ecosystem, you've been here for years and you have been working. It is very frustrating to be told, hey, you're harming the ecosystem. How dare you sell? I'm not investing more than I can afford to lose, First Amendment. I'm fine with that because I'm not losing. But when somebody says, hey, now that you've invested and you decide to withdraw, whatever that may be, in this case, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to spend a little bit of Hive. If somebody says, well, you can't do that, or, oh, you might be investing too much. No. This is my choice and not your choice. And this is the part of the ecosystem that is problematic. And this is the part that we have to figure out. There has to be a willingness to give for the platform, knowing that it benefits you in the long run. But there also has to be a willingness to allow other people to, make something out of the work they've done here. And it's ugly, but it's cool. I don't know.
I have a solution.
Yeah.
We're doing Crim Appreciation Day.
Oh, for fuck's sakes, Ron.
It's going to happen.
I thought this was a real topic.
No, that's going to happen.
I mean, and this is something we talked about on the show, but I've legitimately
You're getting these DMs. You're getting it from a misconception, right? And then that's like people are assuming you're a whale. People are assuming this. People are assuming that. They don't understand. That's why Crim Appreciation Day will be important. And Crim Appreciation Day is going to be happening this September at some point. So just keep an eye on my blog because it's going to be announced.
Okay, but the flip side of it is that at the end of the day, there is, I don't want to say that criticism can't happen. That's very important to me. And you know what? Like, the criticism about my witness is so valid. It's so valid. And actually, I recorded a video that I'm going to put out on The Witness shortly, but life, NFT showroom. And so that's the other thing that's really difficult too, is when we get involved in building projects that we think we're so passionate about and we know are going to help the ecosystem. And then I'm like, ooh, well, I really do got to make that witness. And if I do that, that means I got to get the keys out of storage. And if I do that, that means I got to let Jeff know. And if I do that, then I've got to actually, I've still got to update a bunch of the code. And I've got to I got to make sure that my witness box stays okay because we're still doing a bunch of the tests. And it turns into a thing. And then it goes, okay, well, you know what? No, that's still running. We're not missing blocks. The witness is great. We're fulfilling all our needs. We're paying all our bills. So you know what? Yeah, let me come back and focus on NFT showroom because that doesn't have a budget to pay me. But oh my God, it's taking off. People are coming in. People are bringing ETH into the ecosystem, onboarding users. I want to work on that. The branding is important. And so that's what it comes down to. So for me, I thought I'm going to find somebody that I can hire to help me with my Hive content. Not produce it, but in terms of I make these shows every week. Twice a week I make shows. I need somebody to do pull a little clip out and schedule a tweet, or somebody who will type up, a summary, or, fix the YouTube description because right now every Cyberbuzz radio gets uploaded as a FullForce, or, I need help in doing all these things. And so I'm like, I'm going to spend some money to do that. But I'll take a little bit of my Hive earnings and I'll channel it into doing that for the ecosystem. And the pushback is crazy. And we have this around witnesses, and it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. It's not wrong, but how do we shape a healthier relationship with it? I don't know. I honestly don't.
Education.
But okay, who's going to educate? And it's arguably, and then I'm like, fuck, it should be me. But then I do that on this show. So now maybe I got to do it on the chain, or maybe. And so that's the problem for me, certainly, is that all of these things have to happen, but we don't have a big enough ecosystem that we can trust that it will get done. And that's really difficult. When we talk about on this show, it's both exciting and terrifying that if we want it done now, we have to do it ourselves. Like fucking Hive Trending. Is he here? He's not. He's just made the first weekly Hive newspaper. And of course, there was the Hive email newsletter is going out. There are, there's people are making these things, but there's not enough making these things. And so Enjar is saying in a decentralized environment, sometimes you need to be a bit more open about things, like how the money's being sent. Well, yes and no. For the DHF, yes. But Enjar, how come you're not responsible to me to tell me what you're doing with all of your post money, right? And for us, I mean, arguably, nothing's changed. We put out a witness update saying, here's all our server costs, here's how much we spend. It's the same. It's been the same. It'll probably change after the hard fork, and then we'll update it. But I guess my argument is in a decentralized environment, sometimes you need to be a bit more open. Yes, but is it all the time? Is it everyone? Where are the lines, and how do we accept? You've stated it before. I know, but Enjar, should you have to? Right? Should you have to? As an end user, as a blogger, as someone here earning, should you really fucking have to? 100% of everything I've ever spent was reinvested into my blog. And you know what? Sometimes around here, it's like the virtue signal pain Olympics. And that's not pointed at you, Enjar. Because I'm the same way. And it's kind of gross. People are always like, well, okay, you've never spent any of your Hive. No. Well, you need money. You don't need money to eat. Okay. And that becomes problematic too. Even that is kind of saying, well, your circumstances should be like my circumstances. Otherwise, you're doing it wrong. And we know that doesn't work. We know that doesn't work in the wider world. We know it doesn't work in the microcosm we're living in. And so which roles or which types of funds or where is the appropriate level for oversight? Yeah, people can do what they want with their money. That's just what you did with yours. I agree, Enjar. But you're saying, well, some people are going to have to be open about where the money is being spent. So again,
see, I think you're too Canadian about this.
And it also shut down people who were angry at me for selling. Well, again, if they're angry at you for selling, that's the part we're talking about. I don't care, because everybody who comes to me and says, how dare you power down? That's exactly what I do. I say, here's our witness cost per month. For us, it's usually around $1,500. And then people go, oh, well.
Yeah, see, they put you on the defensive right there. And you should probably handle it a lot more like you handle song requests on FullForce Radio. What happens when I say, "Hey, Krim, play this awesome song that I think would be perfect for your show"?
Yeah, fuck you.
You say, "Fuck you, I play what I want."
But here's the difference. And I think, this ties into NJAR, is I think that as a DJ, I owe you nothing. As a witness elected by, consensus, there is a level of owing. But the thing is I'm not talking about witnesses right now. I'm just talking about anybody in the ecosystem. If NJAR is getting people who are watching his wallet and sending him a message saying, "How dare you sell?" NJAR's just he's making a video game. He's producing great content. He's just hanging out and being a user on Hive. And he's getting that attitude. Who is the insane person going around looking in wallets and saying, "You're selling so much"? I'm going to come out and give you sass for it.
What's different? So, like, here's the thing. When you're a witness, what is your responsibilities?
I got to produce blocks. I need to approve hard forks. I need to produce a price feed.
Yes. And are you doing that?
Yep.
And is there a certain amount you get paid for that position?
Yep.
Now, is there any clauses of what you can do with that money?
Nope.
So what I'm saying is, fuck you, I'll spend it on what I want. That should be your answer. I mean, you're trying to put this witness thing on like a pedestal. Like, well, I owe it as a responsibility to tell them exactly what I spend my money on. And
I don't think it's exactly that. But I do personally think that for me, that position does entitle me to at least responding to the people who vote for me. I'm fine with that. But I don't ever put that on anybody else. And that's my point too, is I don't think that we should ever say that should become the norm in the ecosystem. And coming back to the topic that started this all, Azaria, you have power. This is so exciting. Everybody give Azaria big hugs. They just came through Hurricane Hell and she's back and she's better than ever. But so the topic that started this all was, if we have a dev in our ecosystem who gets paid, regardless of moving forward, forget the DHF for a second, but if somebody is working on stuff inside the ecosystem, gets paid, and then sells the token, and everybody fucking flips out about the ecosystem, is our ecosystem and our market strong enough? Is that a healthy attitude to have inside the ecosystem? Will anyone who could do work for Hive be willing to come to Hive if they know they'll be tarred and feathered for actually trying to use those funds?
Well, it's a double-edged sword too, and because I think that the whole pitchfork kind of thing, it kind of stems from like where value is being extracted, is it being replaced, right? And I do think that we need to audit a lot, and I think that some people have this kind of, that sentiment gets a little bit out of whack, right? And it starts just gets directed at everybody instead of, it needs to be more laser focused at, okay, well, you're extracting money from Hive, but are you replacing it with the value you provide Hive?
Yep.
And if you are doing a great job as a witness, if you are doing a great job in your DHF DAO proposal, like it should be whatever. You want to spend your money? Are you buying hookers and blow? Fine, go for it. That's what Hive is for.
Productive, Ron. Come on, it's keeping me fired up. If you take away my blow, you're not getting any projects finished.
Right. I mean, I need blow.
The hookers are motivational.
I need blow to add value to Hive. I mean, it's simple.
Oh Lord. So anyways, listen, what a journey we've been on for the last hour and a half. We started out the Cyberbuzz today. We drove away almost everybody who was listening. So if you're still here, thanks. There are people joining in who missed the first half of the show. So bonus, we sucked you in later on. Thanks for hanging out. This Cyberbuzz, we talk a little bit about technology, we talk about blockchain, we talk about Hive. Normally I play music, we're hit or miss on that front. But today we started off talking about how, are we living in RoboCop? Is our future actually just RoboCop? That was a good little talk. It moved into COVID and dead grandmas. So, it may have slipped a little, and that's where we lost some people. But we've just been discussing, some of the aspects now of what we're seeing across the whole crypto space. Maximalists who say, if you do anything other than hodl, you fucking hate your coin and you're an asshole and we don't want you. We talked a little bit about sort of these pump and dump DeFi projects and how the sushi coin is particularly interesting because the guy either has the biggest balls in the universe or is literally really out of touch with what the crypto space is like. He created and pumped the fuck out of sushi. He took $11 million in profit and crashed the price for everyone else. And now he's like, well, I'm still going to develop. I'm still going to market. I'm still going to manage liquidity. I'm still here. He's like, I just deserve to get paid. And that led us into discussion around Hive because the reward pool and having a reward pool has created this attitude. And it's always going to exist. Anytime you get, and I air quotes for anybody who's not watching the video feed, money for nothing, there is sort of, there's pushback on that, especially when we say the money is all of ours. It is a community pool and somebody gets a lot of it. I want to fucking know. I want to fucking know what they're doing with it. And that is maybe a problem. It's important in that we want to protect the value of Hive and that, somebody who was finding ways to get the lion's share of the reward pool and just dumping it on the open markets, that'd be horrible. It'd be terrible for Hive. It would be absolutely exactly what we're discussing here. But that's not the case right now, necessarily. Overall, everybody gets mad at everybody else for selling. And I find that interesting. And I definitely find this is going to be something challenging when we do want to bring someone who does that hustle life into our ecosystem. People go, we have to bring influencers. We scare them all away. Crypto Finally, we scared her away. Well, if Crypto Finally was taking all that money from those posts, $30, $40 posts a couple times a day and just dumping it all on the market, would you still love her as much? I don't know. And this is such an important, hey, Eric Wilson, it's such an important question. And it's such a thing that we have to challenge ourselves is how do we do just enough and audit what we need to? And then how do we kind of let everybody else do their thing? How do we let a real marketplace develop? And how do we sort of trust that our market can survive selling? And Ron is right. A lot of that comes back to how does money come in? And that's been a problem long before selling ever was there. If the price doesn't go up, then we don't get the degen day traders. And so the the degen day traders that bring in
Can you say that again?
What?
Just say Ron is right.
Oh, here, hold on. Are you ready? Ron was right.
Nice.
But
on that note, I'm going to let you keep on talking. I'm going to hop out of here because I think you're doing a great job now.
Oh, now
unless you need me.
Now that you've put me on the right track.
You come to the light and admitted that I was right, and now my work is done.
Your work here is done. That was, if you're not watching the video. Oh yeah, you guys have missed. We used to do Crimerotica. And so, yeah, Ron, get the fuck out of here. I'm just throw him out. He's gone. Oh, I might have thrown him right out. Where did I? Okay, yeah. I thought I threw him right into another room. I threw him with velocity, friends. So here's the deal. And Eric, you're coming in at the end of this conversation. Yeah, I don't blame people for taking rewards. They just shouldn't only expect to take from us and expect us to thank them. Absolutely. Agreed. And so you've missed sort of the lead in to this conversation. And a lot of that was basically from my experience. And so it's quite funny because as a top 20 witness, in some ways, I think I'm really probably failing. And in some ways, I'm like, fuck, I'm awesome. I'm doing way better than the rest of these people. And if you want to call us out for powering down to pay for our witness servers, that makes me angry. And I don't like it because we're very honest about it. And the fact that you think you can come and tell me what to do with my money is obviously part of the reason I'm in crypto, and many of us are in crypto to begin with, is don't tell me what to do with my money. Hi, Dracos. So half an hour before the show ends, everybody shows up, which is great. I scared everybody away earlier. And now you're slowly coming back. I just want to point out that there's a correlation between when I threw Ron off the air and when a bunch of new people showed up. Just saying. Not saying, just saying. So I don't know. I don't know what that looks like. And I don't think this is a Hive. I don't think this is a Hive specific problem. This is a cryptosphere problem. This is a maximalist problem. But I do think that we have some extra added challenges. One being that we do have a dev fund. We do have the Jesus. We do have the DHF, and we do have a reward pool, which is, both of these things are, you only came for the titties. My titties are never even visible on this show. My camera always cuts off above my titties. So you can't even tell that I have them a lot of times. So come on now. Sheesh. And everybody only wants to hear my voice. Fair enough. Fair enough. I don't ever have anything valuable to say anyways. So is there anything, now that we're at the very end of the show, we got about half an hour left. Are there any topics around the Hive ecosystem that you do want to bring up? Knowing that we have, yeah, I mean, I'm wearing a baggy shirt today too, for Christ's sakes. Although speaking of titties, you guys should probably show up for Thursday night. You should probably come hang out on Thursday night, because the titty shirt, I'm going to give away the first edition of the titty shirt on Thursday night. But yeah, so here's the deal. I know very well that I do amazing content. I'm awesome in the ecosystem. I pick up a lot of jobs. I do a lot of grunt work, and a lot of people don't recognize that I do that. But I also recognize that one of the most important things that I could do to continue growing the ecosystem is actually do more of it and make more of it available. Part of that is I'm going to need to hire someone. Part of that is I'm going to need to pay someone. And I'm going to have to navigate that whole thing, that weird relationship. Oh, Lacey's here. Hi, Lacey. So, that's going to be a thing. That's going to be a thing. I am going to have to navigate what that looks like. And I'm going to have to understand that as a witness, I'm going to get more scrutiny. As someone who's been here for a while, but who doesn't post much, that I'm going to get a bunch of scrutiny. And then it's going to be... Jesus, this has turned into the titty show. This went from like logical, good, like hopefully entertaining conversation to immediate just like boobtacular. That was it. Oh, Lacey. So yeah, and Clay is confirming POB, proof of boobs. So listen, what else is on your mind? Knowing that we have limited time for the rest of the show today. And yes, Clay has hugged me, so he has indeed been pressed up against them. And he tried to throw me in a pool. I just want to put that out there. I thought we could discuss some of the last little things about NFT Showroom, because I'm pretty excited for a lot of the stuff that's coming with that, and potentials for the platforms kind of around it. But also, if there's stuff that you want to talk about around the blockchain, we can do that. And then I thought one other thing that I want to do is I do want to kind of use more people around me to try to get some more ears and eyes on Newbie Night, because I want to do some sort of topic-specific Newbie Nights. Because Newbie Night, the first one went awesome. The second one went okay, because nobody knew it was on. And it ended up turning into a big, long discussion. It was so cool. And... oh my gosh, Lacey's new sofa looks amazing. Oh my God, I love it. That is a sex sofa right there. It is delightful, and it's so my aesthetic. So the reality is I do want to do some more Newbie Nights, and we're going to work on that. But part of it is, I think we're going to have to do topic specific. We are onboarding a ton of people from ETH. That's so cool. But these are ETH specific people who are also very art specific. And so that Newbie Night, their concerns, their needs, their understanding is going to be very different than, say, a Newbie Night like we did the first time, which was people who no experience in crypto. They asked really interesting questions, and the two groups would be totally different. And I think it's going to happen again. I think the more Newbie Nights we have, if I can start pairing up with some of the people out in the ecosystem, we could target some groups that really do have very different ideas, needs, opinions, things like that around the ecosystem. And I think that's going to be very important. Now, Eric Wilson, this is a really valuable point, and this is something that we often talk about on this show, because it's not just about communities, but you're right. Communities inside the blogging aspect and the producing content, communities are so important. So yes, I agree. But what I would like to see, and we talked about this last week and we won't touch on it too much, is that we have to remember that onboarding peer-to-peer, P2P, person-to-person, is not, and even group to group, isn't the perfect way and isn't going to get us towards critical velocity. It's not going to get us towards critical mass. That's just not going to happen. And what we need to do is 100% help the platforms built on top of Hive on board. So from Eric's sake, communities or monetized forums, easy peasy. Yeah, I agree. But we shouldn't be onboarding them to Hive. We should be onboarding them to, say, Peak D, or whichever, like a project that, like the Token BB that's dead now. Each project built on Hive that has an interface, a purpose, and a goal should be onboarding their groups. And we're not right there yet. We're not doing a great job. We have a lot of people who are going, Hive, 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 the blockchain. Yeah, check out the blockchain. Woo! The blockchain is the cherry on the cake, but, Splinterlands should be onboarding, and they are, and NFT Showroom should be onboarding, and we are, and Peak D are onboarding, and Actifit should be onboarding, and these are the things that we've got to help with and we've got to become interested in, because evangelists one-to-one can only do so much. And even if evangelists inside the system is everyone that we have right now, one-to-one, it's never going to grow it the way that we want. And so we just have to be a little more intelligent in the way that we start approaching things and the way that we start attacking problems. However, this is literally a recap of last show. We talked about exactly this. We talked about the gifts. Well, I saw that Tracy's doing a competition, so I'm going to pull up the clip from that show and I'm going to post it there. A lot of the stuff we talk about here, we talk about in theory, we work together, we push our brains together, we come up with great ideas, and then we start seeing it filter out into the ecosystem. So rah-rah, at least this show has some purpose. Now, it is, of course, supposed to be kind of like, there's supposed to be some music, some synthy stuff. I am going to, I did hug everybody, and I'm trying to keep up with chat, but I can't. Long story short, we've had a lot of fun stuff. Yeah, more about this every show. And you know what? Every show is going to be like that. Every show and yes, we need folks onboarded with a small delegation so they can do stuff. I agree, kitty girl. I totally agree. And I know this remains problematic. And you know why it kind of remains problematic? Is because right now we're onboarding peer-to-peer. And a lot of evangelists don't have a lot of their own SP. SP. I just slapped myself on the wrist for those of you guys who are watching. Don't have a lot of HP. They worked really hard for it and they're too scared to delegate away because I don't want my vote to become smaller. Resource pools will absolutely help, but this is, again, a project level thing. If we're going to be onboarding, then we need to know, as NFT Showroom, for example, we need to know that we have enough HP behind us to delegate to everyone we onboard, and we do. But when we're relying on a solely peer-to-peer evangelism, not everybody can do that, especially if you're like, I love Hive on board, but the referral system, you've now got people going, refer as many people as you can, refer as many people as you can. That's a competition. You're going to win money. Refer. You're going to get beneficiaries. Refer. If you are trying as an individual to refer at scale, it is more likely that you're not going to be delegating each person. And so, yes, you do have gift giver. You have options, but it becomes more difficult. And so again, we have to start saying, okay, well, what if you use my referral link to Splinterlands? Or what if and we start looking at where can we pair? Yeah, Eric Wilson, and I know you're working on one. Hive onboarding started off that way. That was the idea, is that you went through a series of videos and questions and kind of like matching you up with the things that you wanted to do and teaching you the basics. And then at the end of it, it would give you an account with a pre-delegated amount. So I know people are probably going to be bringing that up again. And I know that's kind of what you're hinting at, is that's a project that you're working on now too. And I'm really excited for that. But what I do want to see is I want to see these evangelists, these individual people who are really good at onboarding pairing up with projects. And yeah, ThreeSpeak has it. There are lots of these actually. It's just, again, we don't have projects reaching out and showing off what they're doing. And there's the problem. There's a disconnect between projects and marketers. We have marketers in our system, but they're working for themselves. We have projects and they're just kind of relying on the system because there isn't that much competition and there isn't that much, like, okay, I'll start a witness, or, oh, I'll make a post and we'll get a lot of money and we'll just use that and we'll coast on it. Or, oh, I'll make a proposal and that'll be fine. We haven't paired these things up. And again, it comes right back down to Hive as a blockchain. If you go to someone and say, hey, you could do everything on Hive, absolutely everything. Come on. They're going to be like, well, I don't know. That's overwhelming. Or I've never really been interested in blockchain, or whatever. But if you find the people who want to play a card game and you say, hey, check out this card game. Here's a pack. Here's whatever. And if you pick a project and you match, like as Eric's saying, if you go to a community, a subreddit that is experiencing maybe a lot of censorship and you say, man, let's pick up your whole subreddit. Let's take it to a fabulous place where it'll act almost the same. You've got the same style of tools, but it's on the blockchain. Your history will be saved forever and you can monetize it. Boom. All of a sudden, you're not going peer to peer. If you could say, also, communities are viewed best through PeakD. Here's this PeakD interface. It's perfect. Let's pick up your whole subreddit. Let's get you here. You can have flair. You can have names. Everybody can get an account on the blockchain. And you know what, man? It'll unlock other stuff. But let's do your forum. Let's do it. Oh, thank you, Angelica. That's where we're at. That's the tipping point that's going to come. And Kitty Girl is right. When they come here, we're going to have to make sure that goes well for them. We're going to have to make sure that we don't onboard an entire subreddit and they all go, well, this is fucking dumb. I can't comment. I just want to comment. What the fuck? We have problems to solve. We have a lot of smart people. And we have a lot of dedicated people working on it. So I'm happy with the progress, but I think we can always step it up, and we talk a lot about that on this show. So I'm excited for the potentials, and I'm excited for more work doing towards it. And we'll talk a little bit more about this. Now, with that being said, it would suck. It would absolutely suck. So all of the things that each and every one of you are bringing up in today's show is part of this bigger picture, is part of this bigger need that we have in our ecosystem. And it is just learning that we have to be a little bit smarter about how we use our marketing tools. We have to be a little bit smarter about our campaigns. We have to be a little bit smarter about expectations of what one person can handle. And we have to understand that a lot of the projects that are built on the platform right now don't know how to market. And so we complain, Hive doesn't know how to market. The blockchain can't market itself. God damn it, that's what it is. But I would argue, again, it's all of the things that use Hive. Hive is doing its job and powering PeakD and powering Splinterlands and powering ActiFit and powering NFT Showroom and powering, Holy Bread and powering Rising Star and powering Crypto Brewmaster. Each of those have power to move forth now. They are here. The projects exist and they're cool. How do we connect them to users? Because people don't care about Hive. They don't care about the thing that makes their, Farmville style game go. They just want to play fucking Farmville. And so, yeah, Kitty Girl, I know. I mean, I watch in the terminal all the time, and I see it in here in PAL too. We see it all over the place. There are absolutely people out there onboarding, just throwing accounts at people and not following up. And that's so problematic because it is something that we see happen a lot. And is Crypto Brewmaster up to being a game yet? Actually, I want to talk with Raleigh a bit more because it's looking really beautiful. They've done some great work. I really like him. I like his ideas, and I'd like to see it take off. Rising Star is another one. Holy Bread is another one. Nobody talks about these because they don't market very well, and we don't help them market. So yeah, how do we connect actions to these podcasts? Root draws. One of the things that comes with that is I need to hire someone to take some of the challenges from my show and to clip out some of the pertinent clips from my show and then help match it up to people in the ecosystem. Because if you're not here live, I don't market. I don't really, I don't make posts about them. I don't do a good job shilling this program. And so when people don't come and they're not here for the second that we're talking about it, how do they know? That's a crim thing. So I have some work to do. I need to hire someone, is the reality, because my sort of interests will not allow me to succeed at every single thing that I have going right now. So many plates in the air and they're all spinning. I'm not going to drop any, but I'm also not going to add any more, and I'm not going to kind of, have the big flourish on the show without some help. So that's what we need to do. And you're right. I like how I talk about these things too. And we get lots of people who come from day to day. We have a lot of impressive minds in here. And you guys are the reason that I come to a lot of these conclusions. And part of it is seeing sort of from the back end workings, but starting off as a front end user. So I got the back and the front, kids. I'm a whole package. But that's the reality is each of us has these opinions. But I agree. We need to onboard a whole Reddit sub. So I think we should set some goals. And one of my goals should be I got to hire somebody very soon to start helping me get some of this content properly truncated, shared, and an update done weekly. Now, I don't know where that'll be from. Probably not my account because I don't like making money on this stuff. But that's just a me thing. Please don't take that personally. But yeah, so that's a challenge. All of these things are a challenge. I could talk about this till the cows come home. But at the same time, there has to be some action too. So, we're gonna figure it out. We have been talking for almost 2 hours. It has been a great day. I have not played a single piece of music yet. And yeah, actually, you know very well, Hive Trending. I was talking earlier about your, I did make an account for it, Eileen. I was talking about your new weekly newspaper. So this is all a thing. Now, one of the things is that it's a challenge to organize volunteers. I agree. Need matchmaking project to connect doers with project managers. I agree. I often function as a project manager and a doer. And this is the wall that I have hit now is if as a project manager, I need something and I can't find someone reliable, I take it on. And what that means is we're not as effective as we could be. And in fact, I actually talked to Hive Trending way back when about doing some aggregate information and creating some sort of aggregate thing. Don't have enough spoons, doing his own thing. We've got all sorts of things. Oh, you're on Vim today. Okay, sorry, Hive Trending, my bad. So long story short, we're all here, every single one of you that I see in chat right now and that I don't see because I know some of you, Vim, Theta, YouTube, Twitch, the website. There's many of you who I can't see that are watching right now. You are all super engaged, and each and every one of you, I can look at something that you're doing that fully moves these ideas forward. Like, you guys are doing it. Shout out to each and every fucking one of you because I can look at something that each and every one of you are doing that is contributing to the ecosystem, and that excites me. So yeah, lots of challenges. It's been a crazy show, and I agree today, hasn't been great, and I appreciate that you guys are sticking with me, knowing that things are just a little wild in my life right now. And I'm trying to kind of keep that out of my entertainment and keep that out of my presentation, because I know that it makes people very uncomfortable when some of that gets expressed. And especially right now in today's world, these things, they add up really quick. So I appreciate that you guys have stuck with me and that today you've stuck with me. Cause I know seriously, the whole let's talk about the universe going to shit. We live in RoboCop. My grandma's dead. That whole thing, not an entertaining stream does it make, but you're still here. We've had a productive day nonetheless. I'm going to quickly put on a track because for an hour and a half we've been chatting and I drank an entire mug of black coffee. My goodness gracious, friends, I need to use the washroom. I need to use the little girl's room. Have I been playing VR more? Yeah, we can discuss a little bit. We'll have a little bit we can chat about that before the end of the show. But I am going to put a track on. I played it at the start of the stream, but I know a lot of people don't watch because they're still here. They're listening on the radio for Making Stuff, or they're watching Making Stuff show. So I'm going to put it on again because it's one that I really like. It's not truly synthwave. It's somewhere between synth and glitch and almost K-pop. I really, really like ghost data. I'm going to play a track for you called Wolf and the Lamb. I'm going to take a quick break. We'll come right back before the end of the show and we'll chat a little bit more. And we will discuss, I don't know, where the hell I'm going to look for some help. And also maybe some topics for the week after next. Because like I said, next Saturday, taking a break. Please still come. Check out all the other shows. Go to the full schedule. But I will not be here. We will be having the funeral. So week after that, we shall reconvene. This is Ghost Data. The track is called Wolf and the Lamb. I am Crimson Clad. This is Cyberbuzz. I'm here every Saturday except next week doing this show. We talk about Hive, blockchain, community, answer questions, help you out with technical stuff, or we talk a little bit about disruptive technology, dance to some synthwave, have a good time. You know, whatever. Oh, it'd be good if the song would play. Son of a bee, let's go. Come on, you piece of garbage. There, I'm the best DJ.
You're calling. Please shout the names of the fallen. Stand tall, they won't see us coming. Guns out, we'll always be running. Bring down the walls of your calling. Please shout the names of the fallen. Stand tall, they won't see us coming. Guns out, we'll always be running. Bring down the walls of your calling. Please shout the names of the fallen. Stand tall, they won't see us coming. Guns out, we'll always be running. Bring down the walls of your calling. Please shout the names of the fallen. Stand tall, they won't see us coming. Guns out, we'll always be running. Bring down the walls of your calling. Please shout the names of the fallen. Stand tall, they won't see us coming. Guns out, we'll always be running. Bring down the walls of your calling. Please shout the names of the fallen. Stand tall, they won't see us coming. Guns out, we'll always be running. I can't believe it.
longer bathroom break track. But I also really like Ghost Data. They don't fit in sort of to the traditional retro vaporwave plus retro equals synthwave. They don't fit into that, but I don't care. The music's good. So hey, we're right at the very end of the show. We're a couple minutes from being done. Thanks for joining me today. Even though it was very disjointed and we got all over the place. And of course, Ron jumped in. I think Ron knows that I'm flustered, right? I mean, there's just so much going on, and it's really difficult to come and just be like, hey, you know, I'm super fucking sad and there's bad things that are happening in my life and that's all I'm focused on. Well, that's not very entertaining to you as listeners. And it certainly does make it harder for me as a DJ to, you know, really, really hit it and make for good shows. So I know Ron jumped in to try and help me collect my thoughts and be productive today, and I appreciate it. So at the same time, you know, I think we've got lots of food for thought. I think the big one is definitely going to be discovering who is the right fit and what is the right fit for getting some of the content that we make here out to the chain and out to people wider. And yeah, sort of discussing things that maybe move beyond technical stuff, right? Because we've done a lot of that. It always comes back to either marketing or community or shared whatever. And so I thought just for the last couple minutes of the show, if you are watching, I do have a little sort of test, what would you call it? I don't even know, like a test version of Showroom's front page here that I'm working on that has some little animations if you guys want to see that. We finished up a lot of the changes, but not all of them. So I don't know if you're watching the, there you go. I don't know if you're actually watching the screen, but let's just see if I go to the browser. Is it the right screen? Yeah, so if you just want to take a look, some little changes. I've worked on some of the actual coloration. Some of the big thing is changes to the animations. So everything has a cute little animation now. And a lot of it is really the featured art needs to really pop. And some of this needs to be bigger. So yeah, I'm definitely starting to enjoy, button changes and things like that. But I'm really starting to enjoy the look of the front page. And I'm really excited for a lot of what you guys are putting into the whole process. So that's very exciting. We'll come from there. I mean, like all of the buttons have proper animations now and just little sort of slickness to them. And I'm happy about it. So there you go. You'll see some big changes coming to NFT Showroom over the next week. We have new features out, referral system. What else? We got the referral system. And there was something else too, unlockables now, lots of cool stuff happening. And now we're going to start moving Lenzy a little bit further forward as well. So the reality is there's lots of exciting things. And even though the universe sometimes feels like it's really shitty and we really don't know what the fuck we're doing, there is exciting stuff. And there's still exciting stuff around Hive too. You know, people are going, there's no more new exchange listings. Well, you know, we kind of blew through a lot of the biggest and best ones, and now the stuff that's left is stuff that has tons of regulations, that requires due diligence, signatures, KYC, all sorts of things. Lots of exciting stuff to come. And of course, all of it takes a little bit longer than we'd like. But, you know, you're still here. You're working hard. You're hustling. You've built your community. You've built great friends and everything else. And hopefully, you still feel pretty motivated. And, you know, it is what it is. So 5 minutes left in the show. If there's anything else that you guys want to bring up, we can do that now. Solo's thinking about listing infrared and ultraviolet photos on Lenzy. Cool. Sounds like people are complaining that there are no more hype bubbles. Yeah, I agree. And you know what? That is a valid complaint. I mean, it's shitty because you can't live off hype. You know, hype is the buttercream icing on top of your fucking cupcake. You want it. It's exciting. If it looks really good, you're going to bite into it. But at the end of the day, you can't just live off that. Kraken is still in process. They have a ton of regulations, and Coinbase as well. Coinbase and Kraken are really difficult, mostly in that they require, you know, an individual founder, and they require, you know, tons of money, and they require a bunch of legal documentation, and they require a bunch of shit. So, you know, there's all of these things can still happen. Keep pushing at them, keep talking to them, but certainly some of the ones that you would expect us to be on, if you feel like, oh, nobody's paying attention to Coinbase, nobody's working at Coinbase. Yeah, certainly people are, and actually Justine still is, but also really, really hard with a decentralized service. And that's something really tricky. There's another exchange that I swear, I don't know really, I think they're just waiting for after the hard fork to announce. They're really cool, and I'd really like to see something come out with them. I've been in a couple calls with them. They're really cool. So we'll see what happens. Lots of things going on around the ecosystem, but definitely public pressure matters for sure, especially in terms of driving a hype bubble. What about two-factor system authentication for Hive? So do you mean like built into the blockchain itself, Mariano? I could see what you're saying, because we do absolutely have a problem in that if you fuck up your keys, your account is gone. Now that's normal in crypto, but of course we do have the challenge of there feels like a lot more keys, and people get really... they use the website and they don't really understand sort of the front end, back end sort of aspect of things. And so people do steal keys. I agree. But at the same time, you have the ability to recover should they change your keys. And it's not a perfect answer. And of course, 1 minute out from the end of the show, we're not going to touch on the things that you want. The trade-off, two-factor authentication is a reliance on a centralized sort of program to help you, which is not inherently bad, but it does mean that building it into the blockchain, you would have to find a way to basically incorporate what is very personal access info about you and your keys into the chain. Now that's problematic because you never want your keys or anything related to them other than the public companions related to the chain. And there's so many things we can talk about this. It's gonna have to wait. I'm coming up to the end of the show. Guys, I so appreciate you. And thank you for understanding that today wasn't a great show and we made the best of it. There's lots of things that we can change and make better around the ecosystem, and it will happen because you are here. I will see you in a couple weeks. Otherwise, I will see you on Thursday night for Full Force Radio. I'm Crimson Clad and I'm done. Bye.